I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thanks for coming. We will get through this as quickly as we can. It's kind of going to be a strange day. Bruce notified us earlier in the week that he was not going to be able to be here if Dan and I both could, so we are. So, and Nick is in Alabama at the time. So we will get through and do what we can with what we got. We have two sets of minutes that we can approve, the minutes for February 21st and for March 7th.
And I make a motion we approve the minutes for those two dates.
And I'm a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, we have payroll in the amount of $184,016.95. So I make a motion we approve payroll in the amount of $184,016.95.
And I'll second.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Okay. Then we have claims in the amount of $399,393.35.
And I make a motion we acknowledge the receipt of the claims in the amount of $399,393.35.
And I would second that. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right, then we have a request for hand-typed checks for $15 for BMV for ambulance and $581.25 as the AIC dues, plus $1 for the ambulance, and that's for that van, that box, the ambulance box that was sold to us by Indianapolis Hospital for $1.
Okay. Is that your motion?
Yes, I make a motion that you authorize those out-of-cycle checks.
And I'll second that.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Next up, we have some things here from the ambulance service. Julie also is gone at the moment. I can't relay to you folks what a job she and her people have done through this time. We know at a minimum it's going to be $1.5 million loss, maybe closer to 2.5 by the time it's done. The entire structure is going to have to be gutted back to the frame. All the electrical, all the HVAC, everything's going to have to come out of the building and start all over again. So the insurance has given us a check of $1.5 million up front. That's by no means guaranteed all it's going to be, and by no means yet guaranteed we're going to use all that. But that's the starting point for them. So I think we're in receipt of that. Is that correct? We've gotten that check?
Yes, we've got part of the money.
Okay, and we have a special account in line for those monies to come in too, and for those bills to be paid out of, so we can track that as best we can. One of the most pressing things is a place to house the ambulances. We had an issue the other day where, I don't remember the exact time, but it was about a 20-minute longer run for a cardiac issue, and it didn't cost the person their life. It certainly could have. We all know what an impact 21 more minutes of waiting during a heart attack situation is. So we need to get those centralized, and are working on that. So one of the things we have to have is a place for them to stay. So she has arranged a lease for an industrial housing unit to be brought on site, so we can at least have a place for the people to stay, sleep, clean up, eat, all the things they have to do on those shifts that they have to run. So that I got approval from the commissioners via phone the other day, because we had to get this signed to get this underway. That was back on the 16th. So with their approval, I went ahead and signed the proposal, but now we need to codify that. So I'll make the motion that we enter into the contract with Industrial Housing Solutions for the housing facility that will be paid 100% by the insurance company.
And I'll second that.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Okay, so that's taken care of. Second, we have a list of all of the things that are covered that are needing to be replaced. This has been a listing. The insurance company I'm not happy with. They have asked many times for Julie to do this when they have their own people to do this. They've asked the ambulance director to come up with the numbers of what it costs to replace some of those items with. she, as well as her people, they all have a job to do, and they don't have time to be doing this work at the insurance company. That's what we buy insurance for. However, they've created this anyway, and so I just acknowledge that we have receipt of this lengthy list of just the smallest little thing, everything was in the building as they could best recall, and that's what that list is for. Then we have a report from the EMS service as far as responses for the month, and so that is all acknowledged as being in receipt. We also have a request, notification from the Board of Health that there is a vacant health board seat available, and we are aware of that, and currently we're in the process of finding someone suitable to fill that spot that would meet the needs of the county. They have supplied a list with us of some people that would be eligible for that. I have also spoken with an individual that might be able for that. So we just now have gotten this list, so I'll be sure that Bruce gets this list as well, and we will look at those and then talk to those people as we feel necessary, and then hopefully we'll be able to come up with an appointment to the health board at our next meeting. Those people are recommended by the health board itself. The health board is required to submit 5 names of people as being possible when they ask for a resolution or an appointment. We're not obligated, obviously, to go with any of those 5, and we can certainly find one of our own. That is an increasingly significant position to have, and so we have 5 names here: Samantha Slavin, Steve Waltz, Jennifer McMullen, Paula Price, and Debbie Nelson, who have all agreed to serve if so appointed. So we will take those under consideration as well, and hopefully we can come up with an appointment to get that spot filled next meeting. That's just more health board stuff. All right. Let's see if I have any other new business. Okay. Don't see anything for this meeting. You got anything new business-wise?
No, I don't have.
Let's just go ahead and do with the old business as well, and then we'll get to you folks with what's come up. And we have no old business on the agenda. Do you have anything?
No.
Okay, I do not either. All right, so we have an ongoing situation. I know that we're currently dealing with State Board of Accounts with some errors in the payroll, and we have met. Roy and John Pratt and I have met with State Board of Accounts with Laura and that exit conference. Then we had a second exit conference dealing with overpayment issues from 2019 to 2020. So we're in the process of figuring out those folks that were overpaid and how to fairly collect that money back. Roy and I met again the other morning at my house, and Roy showed me the manner in which he compiled what those totals would be. We have submitted that request to the State Board of Accounts for their approval. Once we get the State Board approval that those are the numbers that need to be repaid by those individuals to the county, then the council will propose a way of doing that. Our suggestion that we came up with, that we agreed upon, I guess I should say, would be rather than doing it piece by piece and asking some people to pay back and others to have deducted, it just makes more sense to do it cleanly at a one pay period deduction, but with plenty of notice to everyone. And so we're looking at, and again, we're not voting on this yet, but we're looking at the possibility of doing that on the second pay in July. So it would be a one-time notice, but really, and these are only salaried people. These are not payroll. These are not hourly people. These are salaried people, and the highest ones typically are got to pay back $128, and then the others go down to like $14. And so there's a wide range in there. So once the State Board of Accounts accepts those as being acceptable to solve the issue, then we will do that. So if you were a salaried employee, you will be getting notice of what amount and when that will be taken care of, and then that will be taken care of. Now we have another issue with going here. And that issue is that there's been money being withheld to pay for retirement. And that money, as I understand it, is not being paid by the auditor's office. And when it is paid, it's at a random amount. And I don't know if that's correct or not. So who wants to speak? Who wants to tell us what's going on? Yep.
Okay, I got some handouts.
You're welcome to come
Yeah,
up.
you can come up here.
That
Any
way.
of you that want to speak is welcome to come up here
Yeah.
and sit down.
I want to grab this.
Sandy, is yours fairly lengthy?
No.
So mine's pretty quick too, so.
I made a spreadsheet, it might help them understand the dates. I
Okay.
don't
Jump in
know.
before you forget it.
I want to look at that.
So I tried to make a sheet because I feel like the dates on mine would be the same as all the employees.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this first column that you see here is our official pay dates, payday Monday.
Right.
Second yellow column is the dates that my check goes into my checking account
Gotcha.
at Old National Bank, and it's usually a -3 days because we get paid on Friday.
Alright.
The blue column is when my HSA payment is made to First Financial Bank. And it's usually pretty steady. You see in June of last year, there were 3 missing payments. And then also in January, there was a 14-day delay, and that delay actually is what led me to look into things. I since have talked to Delaney at First Financial Bank.
Mhm.
She said, so those HSA payments missing, 6/7, 6/21, and 7/2. On
Hang on a
7/2,
second, we get on the same page.
it's in the blue column. In the blue.
6, 7. I don't see a 6, 7.
For the
They're
original
all
pay
three
dates.
missing.
Oh, okay, I got you. Okay,
Okay.
I was looking for those dates. Those are the ones that are missing. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. Okay.
She said on July the 2nd, she found a credit memo for 2 of the payments. I'm not sure what that means, but she is still looking for the 3rd payment, and it doesn't
Okay.
appear that it was there.
Okay.
The next column is a contribution that I put into the 457B through One America.
Yep.
And I talked to One America Friday, and they called me actually back again today. They said a normal delay would be 3 business days to see on that. So we're starting out, so it's erratic, it's
Yes.
just sporadic. But when you get to May, there's a 15-day delay.
6046.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
And then a normal payment, and then it appears that there was a triple payment made to make up for those 2 that were
Gotcha.
missing.
I see the times
Okay.
3.
And then when you get down to the bottom, I double checked before I came, and I have not received any payments into that account.
It's January.
January 25th, so that's 4 paychecks that, and it's not a huge amount. I have $50 to pay put into that.
That's
but
what
it's
it
not-
is though. Now, is that $50 missing out of your pay is being withheld?
Yes, and it is on my paycheck stub. It's
Okay.
been withheld.
So it's been withheld, but it has not been paid. Okay.
And also on the HSA, I will say that when I get my W-2 form, the amount for my HSA deduction was the full total that it should have been for the whole year on my W-2 form.
So it was showed on your W-2.
Mhm.
Okay.
But not at the bank.
Okay.
And then just recently I added the PERF. I went in to look at the PERF contributions, which are 3% of my salary.
Mhm.
And they're very sporadic, very, very, very sporadic, from 45.36, and then sometimes minus 4 days earlier than the actual scheduled payday. And then there were 2 missing in January and February of this year. And then there appears there was a double payment
The last one.
just last week on the 15th, and then a double payment on the 16th.
Okay.
So I made this up because I feel like these would be the same days that everybody else got
And
their
this is
deposit.
great. This is great to see. That's what the issue is. We're going to have a sit down, figure out how that is and why that is.
But I pulled off all those accounts, and those are the dates, so I assume. And I'm just going to say, no one at any time ever told me that any money was being held from an interest-bearing account or a investment account, certainly. And it's come up, and I don't know, Josh may speak to it, but I haven't confirmed. I'm just a wee bit concerned that my payments for my voluntary life insurance and AFLAC insurance
Yes.
payments are going where they should be going.
And we had that discussion before, because that was a concern that it wasn't paid by someone, and had there been a claim, we would have been liable then for that claim, I'm sure in my heart, I'm not an attorney, but I'm sure we would have been, because you thought you'd be covered if you weren't, so.
Right, and that's, you know, I have
That's
just an
just,
extra one.
it's just, obviously, you can't, it just can't be that way, it can't continue that way, so.
So-
And we had, of course, we would have no way of knowing those things. I appreciate Josh and Jason and Justin bringing it to our attention. We had no way of knowing, of course, that those things were going on. It's just unacceptable.
I did speak to Laura 2 weeks ago about it, but I mean, I'm not sure that any answer has come up with yet, I haven't heard. Anyway, I just wanna say that,
That conversation, was it to verify that was going
I gave
on, or why
her
was it
these
going on?
dates that
Okay,
things were missing.
okay.
So I just wanna say, you know, about paying back money or whatever, I mean,
Oh, I understand. I understand.
you know, when payroll's approved, we accept it in good faith.
Well,
That it's accurate.
as we do, those things come by us. The claims come, we have to prove the claims.
Right.
We're obligated by the state to it. All we have to do is acknowledge a receipt of these. We don't have to verify, of course, there's no way we could verify
Right.
that everybody's check was right going out, so we can't possibly do that, but we have to verify we've got those. So why those mistakes occurred, I can't answer for you. We'll have to figure that out. It's
I
gotta be.
mean,
it's
I
gotta be-
accept our paycheck in good
Oh,
faith,
sure you
and
do.
I trust our deductions be handled
Sure you
in good faith with accuracy and competency.
And if you hadn't brought it up or hadn't noticed that, we would have no idea that situation existed. So we have to work on that, and Nick has already been aware of that, State Board of Accounts is already aware of that, and certainly the council is as well, so.
And the other thing I'm gonna ask, and this is maybe silly, but if I come from old school where everybody's finances were kept kind of, you know, to yourself. And I just feel like now our pay information and deductions, I mean, they go through the secretary at work, and then they go through the payroll clerk, and they go through the auditor, and I heard that the council people are going through our W-2s or checking W-2s, and I just feel like my financial information is just out everywhere. I don't know if I should be concerned about that or
I
not.
can't tell you either. We're not involved with that either, so that I don't know. We were asked, I was asked, I think, about getting some W-2s to compare. We wouldn't have access to
Yeah.
that. That's all private information, so how the council would, if they would, I don't know how they would
It
have
just
it.
seems like it's kind of just out there a lot, you know?
That's
Your
the,
paycheck stubs just out there, everybody, it's all out there.
yeah.
So, anyway, hopefully those will help you, and I'm sure they're the same dates as everybody else's deposits.
Well, it's, like I said, this is brand new to us, and we obviously have to get and the issue between the payback of the others from 2019-20 is a separate issue from this.
Yes.
Of equal importance, we've gotta solve. We have a means, I think, of solving the ones of 2019 to 2020. The State Board of Accounts was ready to file charges, but they decided there was no intent on the officer's part, auditor's part there, so it's just gotta be fixed. So that's what they're working on, trying to fix that. Going forward, we'll have to find a solution for it,
Yeah.
get it fixed.
Okay, I'll let Josh do the rest of it.
Anything different, guys?
Well, mine will kind of piggyback off, Josh will be able to expound a little bit further, but mine is reference our police pension, which is specific to us road deputies, all us specifically. So as far, starting back in 2020, best I could figure, it may even go further back than that. Not one single paycheck of mine has equaled 3% of my contribution to that fund. And I believe it goes back probably to the date I was hired, where there was a specific number, not a percentage, but a specific number contributed to that.
Josh
So-
was saying, what I got to see the same with you, is
Right,
that
and
a
so
constant
far,
amount
I
was
can
being-
guess it's just us two.
a
Nobody
constant amount
else.
was being withheld, but when it did get paid, if it got paid, it was a random amount, it wasn't the same amount
Correct,
all
it
the
was
time.
never 3%. The closest I could ever figure that it got was like 2.95. Okay, so where I'm concerned, not only now are we looking at losing money out of the paycheck because of overpayment, where's that extra money gonna come from? Am I gonna have to recoup that because of an auditor issue or payroll issue?
Which
Do you know what I
money?
mean?
You mean the money that you were
Right.
paid?
That I underpaid
Oh.
into mine.
No, it's gotta be paid, I mean, you're
Right.
entitled to that, the salary ordinance requires that, so it actually has to be made up, so it's gonna be, I can't even.
So, I mean, I
imagine.
could be looking at thousands of dollars here, I gotta come up out of a paycheck if I'm responsible for that money. I mean, if we go back clear to 2016 when I got hired,
Well, what I understand, it's been withheld, it's just
No.
not,
So it wasn't
No.
even withheld?
it's withheld, but at a lower percentage. So if they withhold 2.5%, I'm still liable for a half a percentage of my check to contribute to that account?
Well, that I can't answer. That's gonna be a state board of account and
I can answer
and a
that.
lawyer question. I can answer that. What you got?
I got a letter I wrote. You mind if I read it?
You go right ahead.
Okay. Commissioners, other elected officials, public, media, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak here today. I've been an employee of the Parke County Sheriff's Department since March 23rd, 2018 when I was hired as a merit deputy. I've also served as the Parke Community Fraternal Order Police President since January of 2020. Since then, I've faced many hardships that have come with this position. It has come to my attention that most county employees have been overpaid the last couple of years, and the county has to come up with a plan to recover those funds. I want to start out by informing everyone in here that 6 months ago I was contacted by the auditor's office who advised me that they had taken money out of my paycheck for life insurance policies that were never there. I'd been working here since 2018 with life insurance that I thought I had that I truly never had. When I took this job, I set my family up for enough insurance so when or if something happened to me, my family would be financially well off. After I left the office, I contacted my supplemental insurance companies that sends the bill directly to the county, and they advised me that the county had not been paying my monthly premium in full, so if I had a claim, it would be denied. I have spoken with the commissioners regarding this matter, and to the best of my knowledge, it has been taken care of. The auditor's office advised me that they had only taken money out of my check since 2020. How do I know this to be true? Let's fast forward to last week. I received a phone call from another county employee asking me about our HSA accounts and money missing. I don't put extra money into my HSA, so I wouldn't know anything about that problem. This individual then asked me about our 457B plan that I am enrolled in. I was able to log into my account and I immediately started noticing multiple discrepancies in my account. I referenced back to my paycheck stub and noticed that money had been withheld from my paycheck to be put into my 457B. I noticed that some money was not put into the account. I also observed that on some occasions the money going in was more than was taken out of my check that I agreed to when I signed up for this plan. It is noted that the county has also gone in and withdrawn money out of this account. This is all without my knowledge. No employee in the 457B plan has had a deposit since January 25th of this year.
Hang on a minute. Someone went into that account and took money out of that account?
Yes, sir.
Do you have a date on that?
I can get you a date. I got it out in my car.
Yeah, I just make sure we get a copy of that letter for you done. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
What?
I was
Had a deposit since January 25th of this year, but the auditor has withheld money from our paychecks. I want to remind you this is an interest-bearing account. Under Indiana IC code 3543.42, it's the theft IC code. A person who knowingly or intentionally exerts unauthorized control over property of another person with the intent to deprive the person of any part of its value commits theft. Our auditor is knowingly and intentionally withholding money out of my paycheck and not depositing it into our 457B accounts. I have learned over the last 2 weeks that the auditor had not been taking 3% out of my pay to put it into my police pension that is also required by law. My question is, has the county been putting their 3% in to match that? The good thing about this retirement on my part is that it will not affect my police pension because it is a private pension. The sad thing is it reflects badly on this county because it directly affects every sheriff's deputy in the state of Indiana. Because it is a private pension. And when the account gets audited, someone will have to pay the money back. I don't mind paying my 3% into my own pension. I don't. But I will not pay back if the county is not putting their contributions in. I will not do that. I can tell you my paycheck stubs never look the same. The last 2 checks and the line items, they're all over the place. This paycheck don't have my longevity pay in the line item. But my last paycheck does. But the paycheck is identically the same. Am I getting my full paycheck or not? No one can answer this for me because it's so messed up. But you want me to back pay money if I've been overpaid. I can't even keep track of
Well,
it.
just understand, it's not that we want you.
I understand that, but I can't even keep track of my pay because it's all over the
I
place.
understand. This will be an entirely separate and huge issue with the State Board of Accounts, how this has occurred and how we ever.
I just want you guys to know, in my agency alone, there's a lot of guys missing money in retirement that could walk in 5 years or less. Some of the money they believe they had is not even there. It's not even accounted for. is an issue that is a major problem. People will work for little pay, but people will not work for negligent people. I want it to be known that I have sought out legal counsel regarding this matter. I've been in contact with Eric Fry Law Firm out of Terre Haute. The problem has gone on way too long. Commissioners, I'm coming today to ask you to fix this problem. You're an elected official. If I go to work and don't do my job, I face consequences, as well as every citizen in this county faces consequences if I don't do my job. The men and women of the Parke County Sheriff's Department give 110%, even being short-staffed 24/7. We all step up to make sure the county is covered. This is a problem that doesn't only affect multiple employees of this county, it affects every tax-paying citizen as well. Taxpayers, remember this is your money that's not being accounted for, okay? I want to end with a quote. If you hire people just because they can do the job, they'll work for you for your money. But if you hire people who believe what you believe, they'll work for you with blood, sweat, and tears. Thank you.
Well, don't run off.
I'm not.
Obviously, we can apologize for the situation, but it's not our situation, but we
Understand
will,
that.
I can guarantee you, we will find out what it is and get this solved. The council is already working on this as well, so we will find out what we have to do to rectify that and how that gets rectified. Right now, sitting here, I don't have a clue. I don't know how it's happened, I don't know how it goes on, I don't know how payroll was figured. I don't know why it was deducted, why it was withheld, where did that money go, where did it not, what fund did it not come out of? Why was it not noticed that that fund was growing exponentially, if money's being put in and nothing's coming out? I can't answer those questions, that's not what we do, but I will find out, and we will take care of that. Do understand, I know I already said it, and I understand you're not wanting to pay back what you overpaid, I understand. But it's two separate issues, and State Board of Accounts are gonna require that of us.
And I understand that, and I can respect that.
We will take care of
But
it.
these issues that continue to be building, every month it's a new issue with my pension, with my
I
retirement,
understand.
with my insurance,
Yep.
and I am done.
I understand.
I am done.
To be honest with you, neither one of these, they'll both have to end up being decided by the State Board of Accounts.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's, so for us to give you an answer, we'd be sitting here lying and telling you something that's not so.
And
It's gonna have to go through them, and they're gonna.
I understand, but if this
solve
problem don't get
it will,
rectified,
I can guarantee you.
it's
it has to.
only,
It has to.
every day, it's just gonna get bigger
Oh, you're right.
and bigger and bigger.
It has to be fixed. We can't operate like that. This is just being brought, thanks to you guys, being brought to our attention. We will get to the bottom of this, figure out how this is and how we move going forward. We just, we're as floor-wide as you are. We also, even though ours is pittance compared to you guys, but we have to pay back what was overpaid for our salary positions as well. And like Cindy just said, you get that paycheck, you assume the paycheck's right and everything's being done right, you just assume it is. Obviously, it's not, and so we have to find out why that is, so. Just, I hate to even use the word trust us, I'm not saying that, that's not what I intend, but
I think all of us county employees have learned not to trust anybody.
believe me, we will find out the problem here, but we will rectify this and get it fixed.
Good.
We just cannot operate like
No,
this.
it's-
Well, not only can we not as a county operate like this, we're not allowed to operate like this, so we have to figure out why that is and see where the chips fall.
Thank you.
Well, I hate it for all of you. It's a situation that should never be, but obviously is for all of you, so. Give us time to find out even what the path is, how you correct this, what you do, but we'll get it figured out, and it's all gonna be made right. We don't have a choice of not making it right or not, so we will make it right. How that comes down, I don't know, we'll find out.
Are the rumblings true that when those employees are asked to go back and pay that money though, that employees who have left are not going to be required to pay that?
The state will not require that, because the option of, you have no recourse other than taking suit after them, so if they owe up $60, then they won't pay it back. It would cost more, and the state won't allow us to spend more to recover that than what it was worth, so that is on the salaried employees. If they have left, they are not in these figures. So that's all I can say. That's all council stuff. That's why Roy and I met over the weekend and tried to figure that out. But that's as straightforward as we can possibly be with it. I don't even know if the State Board of Council will accept this. They looked at filing charges. They were at that point, and they said, but there was no intent. They believe it was just errors, incompetence and errors of whoever was doing the payroll. So
Was that in the year when the split pay.
Was what now, the split?
Was it in
Yes.
that,
Yes,
when we
Yes.
got that one additional paycheck?
No, that doesn't have anything to do with it.
But it was
You are now
2019,
paid in
2020.
advance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
yeah.
You're now being paid in advance, like when you get your check. When you get your check this week here, that's coming out, that's for the days that you have not worked yet.
But our
They've got,
pay,
they've changed the payroll schedule. Your first pay of your salary will be the second pay in January. Your last pay of the salary will be the first pay of next year, and then that's it. Even though the commissioner's approved pay schedule says that you'll work till the 19th.
The only complicated part of that is, and Roy explained on multiple times, State Board of Accounts, this probably isn't the place to get into that, we'll need to have a meeting to do that. But the difficulty is here, if you work till the end of December, the last day of December, that pay period obviously will come out of the first check of the following year, and that's where this confusion has come up.
Sure.
And shouldn't, so your first pay with the new rates of the new year would be the second pay, because the first pay was covering the hours before. And if you had a split where you had 6 days of 21 and then 4 days of 22, then they have to figure that out. But that's where the issue came from, and it's just multiplied. It was never addressed. It will be addressed. It has to be addressed. So I have confidence, at least expectations, that going forward now, that the checks will be checked and those proper things will be deducted. Whatever that error, whatever allowed this to occur for all this time, it needs to be fixed now, so going forward, it's not a continuing problem, and then we figure out how the heck to fix and get them right. And I'm exactly where you are, this happened to me when I was teaching school. If I felt that I was paying into, in fact, we had this discussion, if I thought I was paying into an insurance plan and I need that insurance plan and I don't have an insurance plan, I can absolutely guarantee the county would have been liable for whatever your bill was, because we were withholding money to pay that, it just wasn't being paid, and we were on the hook then for whatever that amount was. And that's just, you just can't have that, obviously, so. Whatever the error was, it's gotta be found, going forward, it's gotta be fixed. It's gonna be entirely on you guys, and I'm sure you do every time now, and I would too. Check your stubs and make sure it's right going forward, if it's not, let us know, but there's no reason it can't be fixed now, going forward at least, that we can figure out what happened.
Sir, with that being said, it's hard to keep track of
I
if you're trying or
understand.
not, because your
I
paycheck
understand.
stubs are never
I
right.
understand.
So,
There's no reason for that. In fact, we talked about that early on, about the salaried employees. Need to take the pay divided by 26, go forward on that, and make those payments. That's where the struggle came. And that's what the State Board of Accounts has said, this should have been done, needs to be done, and well, so it just needs, in my mind, there's no reason the paychecks can't be right now. The officers are aware of the problem, fix it, going forward, they should all be right now. We're still gonna have that gap over since 2019, it's gotta be fixed. And your gap for 19 and 20 would be fixed on those other things for the overpayment, but that won't even address the funds that you don't have money going into, that should be going into, and I can't even imagine what a nightmare that's gonna be to find all that, but I can guarantee you, we would do all we possibly can to find that out. I'm as upset as you guys are, even though it's not my money, but it's embarrassing when you have people working for you and the system that you operate to take care of your people has failed you so badly, and struggled to rectify it. So it will be rectified. It just will. I wish I had a better thing to say. I wish I could do it tomorrow, but I don't know how long it'll be. We'll talk with Nick. We'll give the State Board of Accounts again, because this is an issue that wasn't even discussed with the State Board of Accounts extra conference before, because we weren't aware of it until you guys brought it up. We had no way of knowing that that's going on. So it will be fixed, and we will rectify that. Wish I could make it better today. Anybody got anything else you want to add to that? Yes?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm the one that actually submits our payroll.
Okay?
I'm the administrative assistant at the sheriff's department.
Okay?
My name's Amy. The numbers you guys are talking about that were off, I was required by the auditor to put on those vouchers. I told her they were wrong. I was told I had to put them on the vouchers and submit them.
I don't have an answer for that, of what to do with that information, but Nick will. We'll have to figure out what.
I guess my own personal opinion is, if someone tells me to do something and I feel it's wrong, then I'm probably not gonna do it.
I went to my supervisor.
I'm gonna do what my heart tells me.
I went to my supervisor and we went back to the auditor repeatedly, and she kept telling us we had to use those numbers.
Okay, we'll have to know that, I mean, just,
Yeah,
We have emails,
It-
and Justin has them.
super, okay.
all of this has to come out to get this problem solved. It has to. I mean, there's no way to solve it until we have to get to the very
Well,
bottom.
my issue is her pay schedule she's got right here for the next one. This first one, she made us pay it at the old wages. Even though it was the old budget, she said it had to be paid at the old wages. Okay, that's gonna throw you off again at the end of the year. Because now you're gonna be shorting jailers, dispatchers, and almost everybody in the department because we don't want the old wages. So now you're saying you're gonna make us pay back money, but you guys are gonna owe us money at the end of the year.
I'm not saying
I'm
I'm gonna
just
make you pay
saying.
back money. The state
You need
board,
to look
if it was
all the
up
way
to
through.
me, I would say no, they shouldn't have to pay it back, but this is all the state board of accounts.
Well, I understand
That's
that.
what's gonna take it straight.
according to
And
this-
I do see what you're saying.
Yeah, that
It's
first
gonna
one,
make it's gonna mushroom.
yes.
Yeah.
So like, you got the dispatchers alone, because they had a significant raise this year. They're gonna be the biggest gap. You're gonna be shorting them $134.75 by the end of the pay cycle.
So the paychecks you're getting now are not reflective of the pay that you,
You're getting them now, but that very first pay, of the
Okay.
26 pays,
okay,
she made us use the old wages. Not the new wages, when it should have been the new
It
wages.
should have been the old wages till
yes,
the
the
end of
second.
the year, and if it had to be split 4
Yeah,
days
and now
and
you're
yeah.
short.
4 days and 6, that's
So
what
now
should
you're
have
gonna
been
be
done.
short.
So
Yeah,
she
it's
was correct in that first pay of January, the first pay of 2022 would have been on the wages of 2021 because you're
But
getting
you're,
paid,
what I'm saying, you're in the same situation, because now this 26th pay,
yes,
which pays out on 12/19, you're still gonna be short. You're gonna be short that extra money that you got your, increase for. So that increase was not like, for dispatchers was $134. Because the next pay is when it goes up to the next highest rate for next year if we get raises.
Here's the schedule.
okay, that would be the second pay in January where the new.
No, that's the
increase
first
would show.
pay, pay
Or
one
that's-
of 2023.
That's
No,
approved
she's
by the
talking
commissioners,
by the
correct?
end of the
Yeah.
year.
That's
It's
approved by
going
the
to
commissioners,
mushroom.
correct?
Yes.
This year,
The
It-
pay schedule, it's approved by the commissioners.
Yes,
If the raise isn't until January 1st,
I understand that, but I'm saying if you count it up, you use the old wage here, and you count all the paycheck stubs up, by here, you're gonna be short $134 for your dispatchers. Because this next one is the first pay of 2023. That's what it says on this schedule.
so you're talking about using the old wages for the whole year?
No, the new wages for next year, if you guys give
For
us
next year.
raises.
Okay, I see what you're
the
saying.
first pay
Yes.
of 2023 would be on the old wages,
Yes,
okay, and that's,
gonna short $134.75.
only for salary people.
Let me show you what I'm talking
yeah,
about.
yeah, because I don't know why it would
Only
be,
for salary people, not for hourly.
But you're still shorting people.
yeah, yeah.
So, this is the one that we had the old wages on. So if you do
Yes.
the new wages all the way down, plus this old wage, your total is this, 3269.25,
Okay,
when they should be, 34,000. So if you
but on the
add,
old, but
This
you'll get
one, you're
another
gonna be
check,
short here.
but you'll get another check in January, which would.
but that'll be in the new year, which is new W-2s, which will show your W-2 will be short the amount of $134.
Your W-2s will never match.
I am no accountant,
budget.
but the way I understand, that's what the State Board of Accounts is saying it would, because if you quit that last day of December, you're gonna get a paycheck in
In
January.
January, that's not gonna be on your W-2.
In the following year.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, but it would always be that way.
So it's
But it
always gonna be short, your W-2s are never gonna match what
Yeah.
your wages should be.
But it would always be that way, wouldn't it?
That's the problem, a lot
I
of
mean,
us
it
don't
always
know
would
what
be
we're
that
getting
way,
paid,
right?
cause it's always
Yeah.
short.
But it's always gonna be that way, so the number you get on your W-2 at the end of the year is not gonna be your salary for that year, it's gonna be,
But that's the problem, a lot of people are saying, we can't see where our information is,
Oh,
because we
yeah.
can't see it on our W-2. A lot of people get their W-2 at the
yeah.
end of the year,
But no W-2 at the end of the year is gonna reflect,
yeah,
if I make $40,000 for 2022, mine's not gonna show $40,000 on my
right,
W-2.
and
It's
that's
gonna
half the
be-
problem, because they can't
Yes.
see on their
Yeah.
W-2s what they
Yes.
made for the year,
But it
and what
should
deductions came
After
through the
last
year.
paycheck.
Yes. So the first, the second check you get should reflect, if you add that amount to whatever your W-2 was before, that difference between the first pay and, of last year and first pay, then whatever that difference was, you add that in, that should bring you that $40,000 number we're talking about.
But the problem is people are saying they can't trust what's on their
I
paycheck
gotcha.
stubs, so they want
They
to
don't
see
understand
something.
that,
And,
right, yeah.
and then what people usually go by is their W-2s. Well, I
Right.
made this year,
Right.
this is how much
Well,
I
I'm
put
glad
in
you're bringing that up. They
deductions.
need to understand, it's not gonna show that number. That number's not gonna be right.
But a lot of people are that way. And like I said, that payroll that we're talking about, we fought it. We did. And we
Okay,
were told to use those numbers.
okay.
And that
Well-
came from the auditor's office, and we do have the back emails. We
Okay.
kept all those emails.
Well, I'm sure that's what Nick's gonna wanna know, and the attorney's gonna know, because the State Board of Accounts is gonna come after that again, just as hard as they did this time. And like I said, they were ready to be charged before, so.
Right.
But they understood that they didn't believe there was any intent. There was no intent to defraud or anything, just errors being made. Those errors need to be corrected going forward, so that's always gonna be right.
I also suggest maybe, I don't know if this is possible, but a separate HR person that can handle these concerns that a lot of people have. When you have the auditor control on all the HR concerns, it becomes an issue, because like right now, a lot of the concerns are by the auditor, so
The only.
we have to come to these meetings.
And we
just
may
be
have to
heard.
do that, we'll just have to look and see what our options are. We've never needed to have that before, we never had this issue before.
Because a lot of this could have been stopped probably
Yes.
sooner.
Well, yeah, I would think.
Like your new payroll person that you have right now. I called her about an HSA for one of our jailers who's been here since last year. Did not get her HSA deposit, the lump sum of $650 back in February. She just notified me. So I called up to the new payroll lady and asked her about it. She goes, I don't know anything about the HSA. I haven't even been talked to about any of the benefits. I said, on your first day, when you did your paperwork, no one sat down and told you your benefits and what you're gonna be over? And she said, no, we don't have anything like that.
How would you know what to fill in? Wow.
I mean, that's why I think if you have a separate person that can handle some of these concerns, even if it's like in her office, but like
Well,
off to the side.
Yes, and
or-
Roy and I talked about that this week, and we may have to hire someone to figure out just where we are and what have we got and what we're gonna do to fix. So that may be in the fix here.
Because a lot of the issues, I know, Cindy didn't mean anything by it, but yeah, I do payroll, and I'm the administrative assistant. And yes, I get the check stubs back, and I put them in everybody's mailboxes. Yeah, we don't put them in envelopes or anything like that, and I know we're county employees, and that's like open, where
It is.
anybody can look
Yeah,
at
it's all
your
public.
information.
Yes.
And I mean, it's not private,
Yes, you're right.
unfortunately.
It's in the newspaper. I mean, it's-
All
But
personal
you're so-
information on
Your
it, and
deductions.
what
Yeah.
you got.
Yes,
So-
yeah.
I
the
mean, your
W-
social security number and everything.
Yeah,
so-
the W-
None
should
none
not
of
be
that part
exposed,
should be.
Yeah.
No.
I agree.
But
But I
as far as
understand, I still
wages, yeah.
submit the payroll, and I get the
Yep.
check stubs directly back, and then I give it to the employees.
Well, then maybe whatever you can, I don't know how you do that, whatever information on there shouldn't be shared, obviously needs to come off of that, so.
That comes from the courthouse.
yeah, that's
I
gotta
mean,
be- that's gotta
that's
be
not
fixed.
something I can do on my end.
Yes, I agree, yeah.
Is there a way, Laura, like, it's a pretty
Just
sensitive
give
topic
electronic.
when they come, it's a pretty sensitive topic when they come out to our office by a lot of people. They don't like it open, because it does contain.
Yeah, all the
Submitting
stuff.
it
Yeah.
and knowing information are two totally separate things. There are a lot of things that are still private, like W-2s come that way also. Has your social security number, things.
I don't really
different
think
things
everybody
on
needs
it.
to know how much
It's
I'm
not.
putting into.
Yeah.
No,
Can't
that,
even-
I
But
agree
but
with
that's
that.
the thing, no one does
Nope.
know.
The only thing that, the taxpayers are entitled to know is what you paid, that's it. Whatever your deductions are, whatever your payments are, that's your stuff. In fact,
We can
Right,
talk about
anyway,
it.
so no one would ever know.
Yeah.
And when they're talking about the pay stubs and the different line items, they are not described very well. Like it'll say salary one or what's one of the other ones? It
Can
doesn't
you-
say longevity or anything
It's all
like that.
salary.
Can you name it
It's-
a title like where, because on some of it,
Yeah,
there is.
because we were just talking about that today, because
Yeah.
we're double checking, I've got a new system up, and I've got an Excel spreadsheet going, and with the salary ordinance and everything else already in it, and we're double checking the pay stubs before we send it to the bank. And
We
that's
have
what
looked
came up
before it.
Today
Yeah.
is that there's no, when they were checking the pay stubs, there's no way to check to know what line item that is, because that's a Harris software thing.
we have looked before, this amongst ourselves, we talked before about hiring a payroll company to do payroll. That's just what they do, and that would take care of that issue, but it shouldn't be an issue. It's never been a problem with those things before. The turnover's been a problem, it's been, I think, 19 turnover in personnel and in the office in those last 3 years, and that's a lot. So if you get someone to come in and do payroll, and they're not told how to do payroll, how are they gonna know what needs to be where, and how how would they check ever? How would they know that? So it's a mess, and it's gotta be fixed, and we'll start on that now. Now you brought it to us, well,
Well, I think it's important we extend those, because there has been a turnover, and that we extend specifically that position some grace. Because, you know, when they're new, they
absolutely.
don't know that.
No, they don't.
So just because you hire someone to do the
Yes.
payroll does not mean they
No.
know it.
Yeah.
It means that they're capable of learning it and that you feel they're
Sure.
gonna be capable of doing that. However, there's a lot of different softwares and programs and
Sure.
stuff, so just because you came from one over here, doesn't mean it's the same over here.
Yeah.
So we have to extend some grace in those positions,
Yep.
you know, when we're demanding things from them and, you know, issues, that they're new, they're learning.
Yep.
So, you know, I don't think there's any, you know, ill feeling that way, just hopefully that they can get the training, you know, that they need,
Yep.
and that we can, you know, do that properly for them.
And the same thing, state board of accounts, there was no intent, it's just wrong, it's just gotta be fixed. And so there's gotta be some point going forward that you guys can know that they're right going forward, then we gotta clear up the mess that was created to that point, that's what we'll do. I hate it, sorry, I wish it was one of those things we could fix today, but we will get to the bottom of it, figure out to do. Hopefully going forward, it won't be an issue, but you've got retirements that gotta be caught up to date, you've got that insurance that's gotta be made sure that payments are made on that.
Is there any way to get a list sent to like Justin or Jason on who they show they're sending money for, like for insurances and 401ks, and the amounts they're supposed to be sending, so they can make sure they're correct if you send it to the department head, so they know that stuff's being taken care of, and they can spot somebody that's missing, like Ms. Smith. That makes
I don't
sense.
know, I'll have to ask Nick if that's even legal, that information's legal to go, but each individual should know.
Like
every
at least their
paycheck.
name on the list, saying these are the people going, it doesn't have to be the amounts or the social security numbers or anything, and then that way they'll know if somebody's missing off the list.
Let me ask Nick and see. Even on the insurance stuff, I'm sure some of that stuff, HIPAA stuff, they just can't even put names to it, or what's going where.
Well, I understand that, insurance.
But the individual should know, they should know.
Well, like this Shannon, she didn't even know she was supposed to get a deposit, because she has the, you know, the insurance, and it was just wasn't one of
Sure.
the things she thought about, and then all of a sudden, people were talking about it, and she didn't have it.
On that note, though, that's also a department issue. I mean, each employee needs to know what they're entitled to, so that's a department issue. Each employee knows what they should have coming out of their paycheck and how much.
I would agree with
I
that.
mean, every supplemental insurance policy I sign for,
Yep.
I know how much is coming out of my
Yep.
paycheck.
You know if you have vision or
But-
dental or
Yeah.
except or
When I get
not.
my paycheck stub and I seen it's been removed, I'm under good faith belief that it's been
You got paid, absolutely.
And it's not getting paid,
Right.
that's the problem.
Right.
That has
Exactly.
nothing to do with me.
And you wouldn't know
Jason, the
that.
sheriff, that solely has to do with the auditor.
Sure.
And them neglectfully not doing their job on what needs to be done.
Yeah, they can deduct
And
the
how
proper
the
amount.
insurance works is it gets deducted out of your paycheck, and then each insurance company sends us a bill every month with a list of employees on there. So if your name wasn't listed on that insurance thing, that's telling me that you never signed up for that insurance.
I-
Do you have, I'm
So
sorry.
I will give you an example, someone called me from the, one of the offices in the courthouse, I won't tell you the name because it's insurance stuff.
Sure.
And she was upset, she went to our office because it had not been paid, and they investigated that, and it turned out that the insurance company was at fault. They had not sent the bill in to get paid for it, so they get some of that too.
Yeah.
So we got people on that end screwing it up.
I agree with that, but when it comes to our 457
I couldn't
meeting,
agree more.
that's
Absolutely.
not, that's a complete auditor
Ought to be
issue.
automatic, same amount all the time. Yep.
Since there's somebody here, that can you just tell us, just so we're all on the same page? When you're withholding those deductions, a lot of them, I think it's probably a mix. Do you send a large majority of them back via a check with that bill? Do you send it back like an ACH file?
A check. Everything has to go check.
Yeah.
Commissioners have not approved
Yeah.
to go ACH with that. And like the HSA money,
Yeah.
I called Delaney. She has all the checks that I have pulled, all 26 checks for 2021, and they were all paid. Where they went to the people's account, I can't count for that, but I talked to her this morning, and she said that she's got all the checks and everybody has been credited.
That's,
So-
this is exactly different than what she told me when she called me. I
Was that
mean,
this morning?
she said she found, two of the missing things is a credit memo in July, I'm sorry.
Right.
but she hasn't found the missing third payment yet.
Because they
And she
gave-
also said about the sending the check, I just wanna make sure.
Mhm.
I said, so they actually send a paper check, which you told me, you send a
Right.
paper check. And I said, why some days why do the days of deposit vary so much? And she said, well, sometimes people bring them in here, sometimes they take them to the post office and mail them, then they go to Terre Haute to the distribution center, and then they go around before they get back to the bank, and that's why days vary so much. I don't know if that's true or not, but if there's some kind of consistent structure, it would be good to be able to, for us to see, oh, our HSA deposit's there. Or
But
if
as
we
a-
should worry if it's 14 days late, or,
As of Friday, I gave her the complete 26 pays, the 26 checks that came out of her 2021. I gave her that Friday at 4 o'clock at the bank for Delaney to go over and check everything. Previously, I called down at Terre Haute, they had to dig out the boxes, they told me it was all there. Then when Delaney came in this morning, she said she's went through all of them and she's found all of them.
okay. She told me she has not found one of mine. And the only reason I'm concerned is those dates where those are messed up are the same dates where my 457B, that's right in the middle of the year when
Right.
things start going haywire on those dates too. So it seems like a coincidence there that those were the same dates.
Why don't you check with Delaney and see what,
I will, she's called me, I've talked to her twice, but I will check with her.
see if that's up back here.
And like Kyla says, the issue of having a payroll person, making sure that everything goes through. When-
So does someone
when you're-
physically take the check to the bank in First Financial?
Pardon?
Does someone physically take that money to the bank at First Financial
Yes,
in Rockville,
we
or
are
does it
now.
get mailed through Terre
Yes.
Haute?
But you haven't in the past, you're saying.
We did until Josh came along, then he would mail everything out.
ACH has been difficult, the state board of accounts not comfortable with ACH
Right.
because they have access to the account then.
Right.
So that's why we can't, to me, it makes no sense, you can do direct deposit, why can't you direct
They like
send it?
paper.
Yes, why
They like
can't you do
paper.
that? So,
Yeah.
that's part of the issue,
And
we've
and I
had the
wish
discussion.
Bruce was here, because Bruce could
Yes.
probably spread a little more light on it. He's
Yeah.
worked for the State Board of Accounts, he has a little better idea how it works in Gemini.
They did allow us to do some ACH, as long as we were just making payments, they did not allow them to make automatic payments, because they couldn't get the account, so
Right.
that's a mess they're trying to figure out what they're gonna do with that too, but in today's world, hand delivering or mailing checks is kind of,
And I do kind of see Cindy's point, and I think part of this problem, she is correct. I think if you hire a payroll person, then you should let them make up their own mind. Do I want to take this physically to the bank? Do I want to mail it? You should have a set of rules, and they should all do the same.
I
That way
agree.
if there's a problem, it's easier to track it down.
I agree,
So,
And your payroll person is the one cutting the checks for those deductions usually.
yes. And seeing all those deductions, the Harris system is set up and your percentage ought to be 3%, because that's already set up in Harris system. It should not be 2.95.
It's been an odd.
Because if
Maybe
yours
kind
is
of is.
2.95, then
At one point,
every
it was
employee.
It's
specific
not
number.
actually. It's just the two of them.
you mean it wasn't
and I
percentage, it was just a
speculate-
dollar?
Yeah, it's like
dollar
20
amount?
bucks. Back in, I think it was 16 or 17, something like
I
that.
think that's what Josh was saying too, they're telling you,
Yeah.
that fixed 20
Everyone else
bucks a
gets
month, or
checked.
whatever it was.
Fixed number.
Just those two are? And you're the only two that 2.95?
No, mine's lower,
Some
that's on,
less.
that's on one paycheck.
The best I can
Next
get mine
paycheck
out
might be
to average is
2.3.
like
Next
2.5,
paycheck might be
2.6.
2.7.
Because see, all that's already programmed
Right.
into the Harris system.
so you two
Yeah.
are the only two with that problem.
Thus far,
And I think you should just go up there and
yeah.
get a history of it and find out what's going on, and that will help us.
Well,
I've contacted
we've
our
attempted to
police
get a
department,
history
so-
here a couple times, we still haven't received it back yet, so.
But you recognize it's possibly a system issue, but what is causing that issue?
Especially just for two
Yeah.
individuals. That don't make sense.
With the police pension, I mean, it was definitely confirmed, they balanced, Stan Brown, they confirmed multiple times, they didn't have any issues balancing in 2020 to what was sent, because it kind of runs on the year behind. So like right now, they're waiting for the 22 salary information to get back to 21. The only issue they had in 2020 was with Sean, and that's because coroner pay was being included. Obviously, it's not to be, but I think they've rectified that, or, we're supposed to take that out.
The only thing that I can come up with about the police pension is me and Sean both have 6 years and under The rest of these guys have 10, 15, 20 years, so they've been here forever, so we don't know, I don't know if
It kind
ours
of
somehow got screwed up in the mix.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of the school, and I tell them, I said, I know I reference the school stuff a lot, but it's all very parallel. But, like in teacher retirement stuff, 1995 was a very generic year. Like if you were pre-1995,
Right,
your rate was different. If you're
Right.
post-95, your
Right.
rate's different. And that's kind of what it makes it sound like it's
Yeah.
happened with these individuals, but it doesn't make any sense, why that would.
is there anyone with less time than you guys that have a different paycheck?
We just hired some, new, but.
Nobody see yet.
Yeah.
But it's not enough to have a history.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I hate it, but I sure glad you're bold enough to bring it up and get it fixed. It's gotta be fixed, so we'll figure that out. And what that answer is, we'll meet with the council again. I'll see them the next meeting. We'll figure out what we're gonna do to get it fixed now going forward, so it's not a problem going forward, and try to figure out how to make it right for what's short
Already
behind.
been done, yes.
Yeah. Anybody got anything else? I hate it.
I wished I had an answer, but I don't yet.
After you guys.
All right. Well, we deeply apologize. Well, we will get to the bottom of it.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Anything from the sheriff today?
Oh, yeah. Sean and Chris, we're gonna lose some vacation time.
Yes,
so
yes.
I think Justin called you about that.
Yes. So, we've been on the road before, Dan, we've got, you couldn't use their time because they couldn't get off the job because we're
Yep.
stuck, and we had granted that before. So we got a request here,
The amounts on there.
yeah, it says that we approve the loss of 51.5 vacation hours for Sean Clover due to him losing these days because he was unable to use them before his anniversary hire date. So I'd make the motion that we extend those 51.5 vacation hours.
And I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye. Is that the only one?
And then Chris was there.
Chris.
Chris was in there somewhere.
Okay, I didn't see Chris, so
I get,
same number of hours?
he had.
Oh, I'm
different-
sorry, I passed those on. Was that 3 separate ones?
Yeah,
I thought it was
yeah,
copies
There was
for us.
2 of each.
Ah, I
2 for
thought they
Sean,
were-
2 for
I
Chris.
thought you had copies for us all.
Yep, I thought,
Okay.
sorry about
Chris
that.
had like 4
I'll have
hours.
that.
Chris McCann is 46 hours, so I would make a motion, we extend those 46 hours of vacation for Chris McCann.
And I'll second
All in
that.
favor, say aye.
You need copies of these?
Yeah, I like to have copies of them.
And then this is the grant paperwork for the USDA. We need your John Hancock, get the money released.
All right, and this is for the Tahoes?
I think it says page 11 you have to sign.
Yeah, but we've already agreed to this, right? So we don't
Yes.
think they have to do anything other than sign.
Sign it.
Yeah.
Money's there waiting. Or will be there waiting.
So have we got a copy of that grant stuff yet?
Yeah, it's been going on for a year,
This is.
over a year.
Yeah, I say it's.
So this isn't the new one, I
Post-
think.
No, this is one from, actually 20.
How much is
20, I
that
think,
for?
into 2020,
Correct.
we started this.
So how
So,
much
yeah.
is this one for?
13,
Yeah.
13 and some change.
I believe so, that's correct.
Do you know where I'm supposed to sign on this? It's not marked, do you know where these are?
I think it's at page
No,
11.
Justin
Well, it
had
says page
one.
11, but they're all
Oh.
numbered differently.
Oh.
There is no
I
number
was like, oh,
11.
That
Justin
doesn't
had
help you
one.
then.
No. Tell me how many pages you have, and then I'll count back from there, so don't worry about the page number at the bottom, just count how many sheets you got.
Oh,
Physical page 11.
He was sitting back there shuffling them. Yeah.
yeah.
All right, so we should be.
I assumed it was highlighted.
Should be next to the last one.
After he signs it, can I get a copy of that? So it's a grant file.
Yeah.
Yep, just a second. There's one. 2. 3, 4. There's a place here on page 5, looks like my name I'm supposed to sign. Hang on to that, this number 5. 6,
That's one spot.
there's one here too. Is that the same thing?
Yep,
Both of them are
Are
one.
they the same thing?
yeah, looks like the same.
All right, I bet this is it, I bet this is the one, it's a federal financial report, but I don't know what that is. Do you know what these things are? You wanna look at that and see if that's what
That's
I need to sign?
performance
I saw
progress
it
report.
when
I
it
don't-
was.
This is for the federal financial report, is that what, for the USDA, is that what I'm looking to sign?
I believe that's
Yes.
correct.
All right, then there is a place here for that. It's got my name above, so I'll do that.
Just sign everything.
Yeah.
I just had him sign, but I just haven't signed.
Yeah.
See if
It
that's,
goes with it.
well, I'll put it back in the
These kind of
stack.
references in one page of this one. I just sign them.
All right. Those are the only ones that are highlighted. You think that's all there is to?
I think these two here.
I can.
There's one here for the
He
auditor.
just gives a rubber stamp in your name.
Yeah. And those were in there
Okay.
someplace. Now, there was one here. That's got the place for the auditor to sign. Is that?
He just told me he needed your
I think it
signature.
just required Julie.
Okay.
Thanks, sir.
Yep.
That's all I
There
have.
you go. Okay.
Thank you.
Randy's not back there.
Yeah, thank you,
Is
sir.
he?
Jason, can you just run down through the copier right there and
Yeah.
give me a copy of it?
Come on up, Randy.
I'll sit in the hallway.
Has his department been having any issues?
Probably not, other than Judy, she's salary, and Randy's salary, but I don't think so. I think this came out okay, it's like that's what Roy was talking about. So yours were okay, I think. Just on behalf of us to the highway department, I know Bucky came down, and I don't remember the other kid's name, came with him, big kid, young guy.
Oh, Jacob? Oh,
And they had started to cut that log out from under the Bridgeton Bridge, but it rolled on them, so they backed off of that, and the water got high. And so I went to Corps of Engineer, asked them, I didn't have any hope that they would work with us on that. But I met with the first guy, that they would lower the water so we could get back out on the dam. And he said he would call, but he was sure it wouldn't happen. He'd ask his boss. So I asked if I could talk to his boss. The boss came out. I told him what I had, and it wasn't a half hour. He called back and said they agreed to lower that water. It took about 5 hours to get the level back down. But Bucky went back out then and dropped it. They did a good job. Appreciate that. It was doing damage up on the bridge. It had been a tie rod. I don't know if I shared those pictures with you or not.
no.
It had been a metal tie rod. So here's the dam. This big log was on it, and it was as it went over the dam, it was up into the bridge. So I crawled under the bridge up on the lower cord and got pictures of that. It lifted a cross tie. It lifted a cross piece.
Oh, good. For the beams for,
I can
or
show-
experts.
I can show you a picture of this real quick. Yeah, the X-brace, right. Let me get this where you can see it. Yep. Let me make a rotate here.
So it pulled down its notch.
Hang on, it's gonna rotate. There it is. So that was pushed up. Does that make sense? See what that is? That's the up into a tie rod. There it is. See the metal tie rod coming across? And they've been up into it and pushed it. There's a better picture of it. Here's tie rod over here, and the log had come up.
I see that.
I want to get in there to make sure that it wasn't snagged on anything, so if it did drop off the side and try to come down, it wouldn't just take the bridge over or pull it more, but it wasn't, it was just pushing against it, so we just had to cut that and let it drop back into the river, and that's what we did, and it worked out well.
Did they fix the X-brace or?
No, I don't even know that he was aware that it was damaged, so I didn't know if that X-brace underneath there, I don't even know how they would get to it to fix it.
Well, you just have to hang a couple brackets and shove a walk pick underneath.
I don't know if you want to look
That's
at
all
that.
we do.
or-
I'll look at it.
Okay.
That's what we normally do.
Okay. So anyway, they did good, and I appreciate you getting to it. Did you get a chance to look at 560 today?
Mm-hmm.
Mess up
I
there.
think we should have the 3 9 spots fixed.
Great, appreciate it. Okay, what do you got?
It's supposed to rain tomorrow, so.
Yep.
3 days, as it
3
looks
days,
like.
Yeah, that's all right. The weight limits, do you wanna lift them today, or you wanna wait till next Monday?
I'm okay, I think they're pretty solid now. I was
The majority.
amazed how fast it changed back from being that sloppy mess to being fixed. So if you're okay with lifting them, I'm okay with lifting them. Then I'd make the motion then that we lift the weight limits on the county roads.
I'll second
All in
that.
favor, say aye.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Um,
Will you
That is
notify the
official
schools?
as of today, right now.
Will you notify the schools then that that's been lifted?
I think they already know
They know,
it.
okay?
I told them I was gonna try to get them
Okay.
that for next Monday, and they put it on
Okay,
the phones.
okay. Oh, that's right, spring break this weekend,
Yeah.
so yeah, okay. Good.
See, April 4th, we're going to 4 10-hour days,
Okay,
and other than that, we're still patching, still grading.
Okay.
Hopefully, they'll have some Duraburn next week.
are we out?
No, we're not, but
Okay.
we're getting low, and
Oh, I know, we need to keep stockpiling.
I wanna keep some, well, I need to haul on the road, so
Okay,
we won't be able to do any stockpiling for a while.
okay.
That's why I wanna keep some down there in case we get in the mine halfway or
Okay.
something. That's all I have, unless you guys have some.
I have a question for Randy.
There you go.
So is dust control gonna go up exponentially this year because of the price of oil?
Yeah, I figured it up the other day, and I think it's 30-some cents, 35 or 36 cents higher.
A foot?
Yeah, $2.36 now instead of $2. Well, I haven't raised any of it for quite some time,
Yeah.
and we was getting where we was absorbing some of it.
And it's just cost of materials, all that is.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Also, another question, when someone calls and says they're going, an excavating company, like today, I don't know, I was unclear if they had talked to you, they said, we're gonna have 100 North closed down to do some work. It was some
100
excavating,
North out there at Green Township,
yeah,
yeah,
okay. I
yeah.
mean, that has to be approved, right? You guys are-
Well, we already
To
have,
close a road?
already have.
Okay,
They don't typically
It
come
took-
to us for those, the highway department takes care of those.
okay,
Took the permits out to him Friday, I think it was.
that was today, but I'm like, I asked if you guys knew and they couldn't
Yeah, you
really
don't
answer
have
that.
3 spots,
Okay,
2 on 900, 1 on 100, so.
Kind of what that boils down to, us only have meetings every 2 weeks, and
right.
Randy
Okay.
has the approval, he takes care of the permitting process, and
Okay.
he knows what's going on where.
Sometimes I think people call and just say, yeah, we're gonna close this road, and they haven't ever talked to anybody.
And that's
Or
very,
you-
and that's very
And,
possible.
and you have the right to question and ask him,
Yeah.
But if you
Yeah.
have a question, Randy would be the one to call, he would know,
Yes.
not us.
Okay,
I don't think we've been involved in closing roads other than some special event going on.
state or county fairs about
Yes.
the only time we even messed
Oh,
with
and
it.
that thing they had out of LAB, that
Yeah.
race where we closed
Yeah.
Old
They
36.
did get
for a
you
while.
called and told about 1,000 East today, didn't
yeah,
they? Okay,
yeah, it's gonna be a while.
yeah. At least this week, part of next, I imagine.
Time frame, do you know what we're looking at, so I can give some people some information on when the blacktop is probably gonna start?
They're opening their plant up, I think, April the 11th, I believe. I believe that's what the guy said.
I've had several
But he
complaints.
don't know anything about scheduling, yeah, another guy does the scheduling.
When you find out, let me know. I have had several complaints on the roads at Bridgeton. I have told them they're all getting blacktop except the main street, but they are, some of them are for a car almost impassable. I know you got down there and patched the one for the preschool. I know the main artery is the most important part, so get them done first.
Yeah.
And
That's what we're
at
trying
least
to
they've
do.
got something to look forward
Uh-huh.
to, that they are all getting redone. So when you do have a time frame on it, let me know, so I can kind of let some
Okay.
other people know.
Sure will.
Anything you need from us?
Nothing I'm aware of.
Okay. We make sure there was nothing else for you.
Hopefully the weather will get better.
Yeah, I hope so.
It's pretty nice out
At least the
there.
freezes
Next 2 weeks,
done.
we're
Yeah,
having
the
2
freeze
days.
is down, and actually that rain's not been too much damage.
No,
Almost
it's
like
not.
it's been settling.
You're getting off the bunch, actually.
Yeah, once the freeze is down.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think I have anything else.
All right.
That's
Thanks.
it for me, Randy. Have a
Okay,
good
thank you,
day.
guys.
Anybody else have any,
Found another space.
okay. Is this page 11?
Probably.
Okay.
I think that's everything.
All right, Rick? Yep.
Pipeline or?
If not, if you need more, just call. I can come out.
Need some attention.
Let me know.
We'll be there. They're on camera right now.
All right, if there's nothing else, then I make motion we adjourn.
Second.